On Wednesday, October 6th, 2021. We'll begin with a roll call. Please say here or present once I say your name. Edvate. Adagarla. Ulrich. Here. Brecht. Here. Blythe. Present. Carter. Claiborne. Here. Cooper. Crabb. Here. DeVore. Here. Filippi. Finaldi. Here. Gates. Here. Goff. Hayes. Here. Lent. Mahoney. Here. Rios. McCready. No. Paulson. Here. Risvik. Ruley. Here. Seth. Here. Simmons. Skaggs. Stout. Here. Thornton. Present. Wegmeister. Present. Weathers. Here. Yang. Zuber. We'll go ahead and go into the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Speaker Weathers.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now it's time for open forum, the program with Cyclone AIDS. You can make your way up to the podium, that'd be awesome. Into what do we do, what is our role here on campus, and how do we impact new and incoming students. And then we're going to get into how do you get your very own polo and khakis and get involved with the program. Perfect. So who are the Cyclone Aides? We are the face of Iowa State University for the year. So it is a contract from the spring of 2022 through 2023. So that entails working the on-site orientation shifts as well as Destination Iowa State. We sort of serve as experts on the undergraduate college experience. So we work on student panels, working in small groups with students and building connections as they get ready to transition to college life. We also act as representatives of each academic college. So I am in the College of Ag and Life Sciences. So I worked one-on-one with incoming students for my college to sort of welcome them into the program and give them a sense of what their classes may look like. And finally, we are peer mentors for all incoming Cyclones. So all students work all days of orientation throughout the summer. So it's a really great opportunity to meet a very diverse group of students that are coming into the university and give them a wide variety of welcoming faces. Okay. So I touched on a little bit, but now I'm going to get a little bit deeper into what do we do. So you will work alongside 45 other Cyclone Aides. The training for this position is actually going back to its old format next year, which is pretty cool. It will be in the format of a leadership seminar in the spring semester. So that is 2 credits that you can contract for a leadership certificate here at Iowa State. So that's a really awesome opportunity and benefit that they do provide. So that will be Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. You will do all of your leadership training and meet all of your coworkers. You'll also learn some really obscure facts about Iowa State University as you prepare for your campus walking tours. I know my presentation says how many bricks are in the Campanile. This year we went with double stuffed Oreos. It is 2012 double stuffed Oreos. I'm not sure why we chose that one, but I think every year it changes just a little bit. You will also serve as a mentor for Destination Iowa State team leaders. So as I said, in the beginning of the summer, we work with on-site orientation and welcoming new students, but in the second half of the summer, we coordinate, plan, and execute Destination Iowa State programming for all incoming students. Along with that, you will be a mentor to 8 to 10 team leaders as they work to directly engage with their incoming students. You'll also have lots of opportunities to improve your public speaking abilities in front of large and small audiences as you work with small student sessions, as well as hosting the key topics for family members and serving as a panelist. You also will get great opportunities to network with professionals across the university as well as in your academic college. It's opened up so many doors for me, and it has been really a great opportunity, both professionally and academically. And then finally, you will get some event planning experience by preparing for and implementing Destination Iowa State. Okay, so I know you're all jealous of my sweet red polo and my name tag. So how do you get your own? Our applications are currently open. They will be closing on Sunday, October 17th at 11:59 p.m. We would love to see all of you apply, and I'm sure y'all are a very connected bunch across campus. So if you know any undergraduate students here on campus that you think would be great in this position of welcoming new Cyclones to our little Cyclone Nation, we would love for you to pass on this information, recommend that they apply, and put in a good word for us. Yeah, so the interview process, I guess I should talk about that a little bit. So it's a really simple online application form that you fill out, and then you will go through 2 rounds of interviews. So you will first go with your academic college. Cyclone aides are hired by academic college. We have 4 to 8 designated per college. And then you will do your final interview with new student programs. Come into the office, get to meet some of who will be your bosses and your coworkers. And then training will begin with the spring semester of 2022. So I just want to say thank y'all for letting me take up a few minutes at the beginning of your meeting tonight. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to either me or the Office of New Student Programs just down the hall. Does anybody have any questions? Just off the top of their head? No? Perfect.
Senator Seth?
My mask? Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. That's the first time it's done that. Thank you so much for coming. I just wanted to ask if there was any kind of shareable graphic or any sort of like infographic or something that we could download to maybe promote through our various channels, like, you know, like a job posting like image or something that we could like send in like listservs or post on our Instagrams or something like that, just to help spread the word to students about this opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I have passed along just like a little short informational blurb. There is also a PDF flyer that's just like the details, not the details, like an overview of the position. It's like more eye-catching than seeing just a paragraph of text in your email. So I will share all of those again, and if you would like them, feel free to either reach out to me or the Office of New Student Programs, or I will send them along to Julia. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. I yield.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank y'all.
We'll go ahead and go into open forum now. Open forum is an open discussions of issues relevant to students. Is anybody here for open forum tonight? Yeah. Go ahead and say your name and year.
Hello, everyone. I hope that you're doing well. As some of you know, my name is Natalia, and I am the senator for LES, and this is my senior year. Yay! This is what I want to say. On Monday, 27, a person was reportedly assaulted by an acquaintance on Friley Hall, a campus dorm. This is the 3rd sexual assault notification that we received on this month, on September, and those are the only ones that we know of. I can't even think of the ones that haven't been reported. All of those incidents occurred on campus ground. 2 being in the dorms where I lived during my first years at ISU, Friley and Hilser. As a woman and member of student government, I can't stop wondering, what are we going to do about the situation? It makes me worry about the safety of my friends and my own. I understand that we may have limitations on what we can do, but that must not keep us from trying. If any student government member or committee has already started a project to tackle this issue, please let me know. I know other people who would want to help, and I want to help as well. And if we haven't started a project, then I think the time is now. It makes me sick that I have to say this, but if you're a person who has suffered from sexual assault, know that the only person responsible for sexual assault is the perpetrator, not you. Victims are strongly encouraged to seek both physical and mental medical help, which is offered free on campus. Lastly, I know Senator Risbeck already mentioned this over email, but if all student governments could please sign up for the Green Bystander Intervention Training, that would be great. Thank you all for your time.
All right, seeing no one else here for open forum tonight, we'll go ahead and move on to adopting tonight's agenda. Are there any additions to tonight's agenda? Senator Wagmeister?
I move to postpone funding Cardinal Eats 2021-224F for 1 week.
Been a motion to postpone funding Cardinal Eats in a second. Is there any objection? All right, we'll go ahead and postpone that to next week. Any other additions for tonight's agenda? Senator Rulli?
I move to table bowling club line item transfer, that's bill 2021-2-019F indefinitely.
Been a motion and a second to postpone, is it bowling club line item transfer indefinitely? Is there any objection? All right, we'll go ahead and postpone that indefinitely. Any other additions to tonight's agenda? It's been a motion to adopt tonight's agenda. And second, any objection? Go ahead, adopt tonight's agenda. Moving on to approval of minutes from last week. Is there a motion to approve last week's minutes? It's been a motion to approve last week's minutes. Is there a second? All right. Last week's minutes are approved. Moving on to committee reports, beginning with rules with Speaker Weathers.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Rules Committee didn't have any confirmation hearings, nothing too exciting, but we spent the majority of our time going over 2021-2-023Y, which we'll see under internal matters tonight. That's just a bylaw bill that gives SI Committee a standing budget. I expect a little bit of debate from that. It got sent to both Rules Committee and Finance Committee, so I know Finance Director Zasher will be speaking on the amendments that his committee proposed. And there's a few minor changes from Rules Committee as well. But overall, the bill passed favorably, and nothing else really to report.
Finance Committee with Finance Director Zastro.
Finance Committee met yesterday. We saw the same bill that Rules saw. We said that favorably with some amendments. These amendments, the biggest one, like tangibly, is that we added an enacted clause to the bill explicitly putting money into that line item that's created. As the bill reads right now, I think the next fiscal year we would have a line item for that, but not for right now, which I think is what SI wants. So we're just adding the money and then a couple other smaller things. We saw a whole bunch of clubs yesterday. We sent equestrian clubs, line item transfer, and bill favorably. Don't believe there were any amendments on that one. Pakistan Student Association's bill was sent favorably with an amendment. We tabled Cardinal Eats' bill. The representative wasn't able to come to our meeting yesterday, so we'll see them next Tuesday, and then we'll vote on the bill next Wednesday. We approved a line item transfer for Bowling Club, which is why that bill was postponed or was tabled indefinitely, because we were able to approve that ourselves. It was less than $1,500, so we didn't need a bill for it. Or that didn't need to go through Senate. We approved a Green Initiatives Fund application that was super, super cool. I attached some stuff in the email about that today. There's a picture that's actually in the email, and then if you want to see like the schematics for how it's built or the full application, those are both attachments. That was a really cool project. Really excited to see that come through. We approved a line item transfer for swim club. They were originally going to go to K-State, and now they are going to University or Michigan State is in East Lansing. Yes, awesome. So they're going there. We also continued our PNC review. That's almost done. I've only gotten feedback from one person so far. And it was great feedback. So you can be the change. We can be thinking about what you're saying in finance committee. Then we got account totals. I'm still looking for a clerk. It's $20 a week. Please, somebody's got to do it. If you're interested, email me at 4:15 to 6:15 on Tuesdays. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them. I'm sure that I'll probably get some questions during the SI bill. But yeah, that bill looks good to me, by the way. I'm all good on that.
All right, we'll go ahead and go to our PR committee with Director of Outreach, Grensteiner.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all having a great night. Just wanted to give you some updates regarding PR. We are currently going through committee interviews for at-larges. We did have a lot of applications, and we were very excited about that. Interviews will be held on Friday and Monday. Multicultural Town Hall went very well. We had a total of 34 attendees. It was a very positive experience. We had a lot of great conversations, and we did have a lot of good notes. I don't know about everyone else, but my phone was full of notes. And all the food was eaten up as well, which is a good sign, and I think everyone enjoyed that. Homecoming, please sign up for Painting Victory Lane. You don't have to be artistic at all by any means. It's just a fun way to just get together and have fun. And if you want to help as well with the float for the homecoming parade, that'd be very fun as well. Getting on a pickup truck, going down, that would be a lot of fun. For tournaments, for homecoming, teams are an MIS. You pay your own entry fee, but can connect with other people in StuGov to compete together. Again, it's not required. It's just a fun little activity. The newsletter went out yesterday, so thank you to everyone that contributed. Please send information for the next issue to Lydia and Bryce. For Fun Fact Friday, you can send any topic ideas to Lydia for our social media. And this is a new project, but we're working on the Lockbox project. It's just a student feedback project. We're going to have a permanently mounted lockbox in the MU, preferably in a high traffic area. This is just in the pre-planning stages, but I wanted to put that all on your radars. That's all PR has.
Moving on to Diversity and Inclusion Committee with Director Flores.
Hello. I have a couple updates. So thanks to Senator Rios Martinez for setting this up for us, but Diversity and Inclusion Committee will now be having guests at all of our meetings. Tomorrow we will have ADA. Next week we have the Center, and following Slot Center and Apex, and we'll continue to probably get some. So thank you for her work for that. Next one, in our meeting, we will have a meeting next week with Resident Life and Campus Police to discuss racially charged incidents in dorm rooms and as well as sexual assault prevention. So that will be me and my Vice Chair, Senator Adegarla, that will meet with them. We also have a project on resource disparity reduction, which will be led by our at-large member, Drew Donahue, and I'll be giving a small update on like one out of our 15 projects every week just because there's so many. But then another thing is that we will be contacting people soon about some D&I Senate reforms. I will be personally reaching out to the executive and legislative branch leaders, and then we'll be splitting up senators. Senator Adegarla and Rios Martinez will be reaching out to you guys. So that's all for me.
SI Committee with Senator Debate.
SI Committee had its regular meeting on Sunday. We mostly just discussed what we've done in the past and what we have coming up, sort of project updates from committee leadership and team leads within the committee. Just to sort of go over that real quick, the Give a Swipe program, a tentative date has been established to the 4th of November, 7 p.m. on Thursday. We're waiting for final confirmation from ICPD, but they said it's more likely than not going to work for them. Also figured out a lot of finer details. Stay tuned for those. In terms of the Give a Swipe program, we have identified that the biggest problem seems to be that people just aren't claiming meals. I'll be meeting with PR committee leadership tomorrow to sort of see what we could do in that regard. We also have members reaching out to the Department of Residence, maybe see if we can get permission to put up posters within residence halls. So when residence hall students move off campus and they don't have a meal plan anymore, they're aware of the program and they know to reach out. Other than that, the Coffee Dog Mental Health Project, we set a tentative date for the 26th of October, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Still waiting on ICPD to see if their therapy dogs are available then, but they are in favor of the project and they're completely on board, so that's good to know. That's really the gist of it. And other than that, committee member Joe's unofficial student government discard project is making headway, supposedly. So that's exciting. I yield.
Civic engagement with Senator Paulson.
Hello, I don't have that many updates, but 5 of the 7 school board candidates will be at the candidate forum on October 19th, so that's exciting, but yeah.
Great, we'll go ahead and go to comments from the student government advisor with Sophia.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for giving me this time to talk to all of you. I greatly appreciate it. A few things. One, you would have received an email from me yesterday about setting up a meeting in the month of October. That's just so I can get to know all of you better and to understand what goals and initiatives that you'd like to work on. And I realized afterwards I didn't put where my office is. So if you go to the East Student Office space, which is directly downstairs across from Panda Express, someone in there will be able to let me know that you're here, and then I will come get you. I will be sending this in an email as well because I don't want to just say it. I want to also let you know in a more permanent way. I'm just giving it a try for this month. I want to see if it works, if you guys like this. And I'll be looking for feedback at the end of probably either November or early December, because I want to, I guess, try it for 2 months to have 2 meetings with you guys. So if you would be able to sign up for that, I greatly appreciate that. Some other things is the Student Engagement Office is doing a leaders workshop series. So every Tuesday. So every Tuesday from 6:30 to 8, they'll be doing different workshops in the month of October. So the next one is on time management, and then wellness, and then career readiness. And they're just in the Pioneer Room. So from 6:30 to 8, you can go and learn some super cool things. And there is free food. So I would highly recommend that you check that out. And if you need anything, please let me know and set up a meeting. So thank you.
Comments from the executive branch with President Campbell.
Good evening, everyone. I've got a few updates I'll run through, and then I've got an email with quite a few attachments on it. One being are the new cyclone aid flyer that we'll distribute. So you can feel free to take a look at that. I also have some slides from recent meetings and university communication. So a couple things that we've been up to, including Vice President Decker and myself and other members of cabinet. Last Thursday, we met with 2 of the new Board of Regents members here on campus. We had lunch with them, with Dr. Younger and her Student Affairs Advisory Board, some of the members there. There was also the dedication ceremony for the Student Innovation Center that took place. On Friday was Order of the Knoll. That is one of the celebrations of the donors of Iowa State, and to thank them for their contributions to our education. It was a phenomenal celebration of a completed 9-year campaign, accumulating to a total of over their goal of $1.5 billion, but rather a $1.54 billion campaign. So tremendous support from people that really believe in the mission and values of Iowa State University. One thing I would like to offer to all senators in this room, and if there's anyone else that this might be relevant or pertinent to, is to set up meetings with your college dean. So senators, if you are representing your college constituents, I would absolutely love if you have not had the chance to meet with your dean, or you would like to begin regular meetings with your dean. I'm more than happy to make an email introduction. I interact with them on a fairly frequent basis, and am more than happy to do so, and would be excited to get those meetings set up. Secondly, I've got two things here. I want to provide some clarification, or if this has helped to anyone in the room, but two things that I can do for you and anyone as a member of student government or across the university would include making email introductions to faculty, staff, administration on campus. We cross paths a lot during the day. I have a lot of emails come across the inbox, and if any of you are trying to get in touch with someone and you would like me to make an introduction, or you would like me to assist in any way, please let me know. And secondly, one thing, Vice President Decker and myself, we meet frequently on a regular basis with the Provost's office, the Student Affairs office, Dr. Winterstein. We had our meeting today. Anything that you see as a underlying trend on campus, or an issue or a concern, whether it's occurring frequently or it's a high severity, we can take those right into those meetings. So please, if there's anything that you want us to communicate directly, that feedback gets implemented at a very quickly. So, and this is coming from our ability to try to represent those ideas in those meetings. So please know that too. I just want to say thank you for the Multicultural Town Hall, Director Sun, Director Flores, Christian, thank you so much, all of you. It was a wonderful event, and we're working not only on sending on some of that information to people on campus, but also incorporating that into the work that we're currently doing in student government. So thank you all for the efforts there. I look forward to future town halls. A couple other meetings. Vice President Decker and myself, we had met with Provost Wicker and Associate Provost Vanderzanden. We talked about the length of syllabuses and testing centers on campus with the new requirement to schedule testing, to name a few things. Director Flores, Director Sun, and myself met with Joseph Ballard II. He had set up time for us to meet with the associate diversity deans across college campuses. So there was representatives from each of the college, and we got to compare some of the unique work they're doing pertinent to their college, in addition to the work they're doing broadly on campus. And the last couple updates, I met today with Megan, GPSS leadership, and Dr. Winterstein. A couple updates that we'd share from this meeting with you would be that, number one, the Board of Regents approved $7 million for Iowa State to continue advancing current initiatives, and that money's allocated to. We talked about improvements down the road to LeBaron Hall. They're going to redo that and make that more accessible for accessibility accommodations, as well as improve those facilities for the College of Human Sciences. Funding for the Veterinary Medicine Diagnostic Lab. And finally, the search committee for the new Vice President of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion is underway. They hope to have a selection made by December, and they're working on that. So, last update, donate at the blood drive if you can. It's going on in the Memorial Union, and I'll include the link in my executive update. But what questions can I answer for anyone about anything I've covered, or any other thoughts tonight?
Senator Hayes.
Yeah, so is it on?
Yeah, you're good. I can hear
Okay,
you.
cool. I was gonna say, what was like some of the communication between like the deans and like us that were they meeting, like desiring to meet with us for any particular reason or anything like that?
This was something Austin Grauber, a few years ago, he was a former student body president. He had done that intentionally, and Jacob Ledwig passed that on to me, that was something that might be helpful. I think it's a great communication channel. They are in the know of some of the high-level and detailed items that go on in their college and are really in the know of it. I think your perspective as senators in those colleges would be awesome to work collaboratively on projects and also just improve the communication channel. So nothing in particular, but if that is of interest, I think that regular communication could be beneficial, aside from maybe attending those college council meetings or some of the other meetings that you attend as senators.
Awesome. I just have one more other question. Oh, what was the what came out of your meeting about syllabus length?
That was something, so we talked about some of the resources listed at the bottom of the syllabus and how we want to ensure the methods that we are taking to connect students who need the resources they're seeking to the resources that are on campus. We want to ensure those are efficient channels. And although we talked about the syllabus being that place that people know you can go to, it's not always fully explained by professors if they think that students see it on a frequent basis, and they really want to make sure it's effective in its length. So that was some of the discussion. And then we also talked about the Canvas module for a one-stop shop for resources for students, and that is something that they're very aware of and are working towards implementing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, not seeing any more questions, we'll move on to external matters. Oh, Vice Speaker Crab. Sorry, Dawson's computer's right in the center.
We can blame Speaker Weathers. That's fine. Just kidding. To speak on talking to your deans, 2 years ago when President Graber was president, we were encouraged to speak to our deans, and speaking with Dean Jolly was, which College of Human Sciences, was incredibly helpful. And I think even as a UROC senator, I still keep in contact with the dean of my college because there are things that are still happening to off-campus students that are in human sciences. So even if you aren't, I think it is important to make sure to contact them and let them know if you're a residency senator as well.
Thanks, Eliana. And I want to expand on that point. The meeting that Alejandra, Tom, and myself had with the Associate Deans of Diversity and Inclusion, I'm sending all contact information and our structure of student government on. They had interest on a college level in understanding who their representatives were as well to work in that area. So that's also contact information I'll be passing along if you receive communication. Thank you all.
All right. Now moving on to External Matters General Orders 2021-2-020F, funding the Pakistan Students Association with Senator Claiborne.
Okay, Shakrok, if you want to come up and talk to the podium. He will just explain what this is and why they need funding, and then after I will explain the amendments.
Hi everyone, I'm Sharuk. I'm representing Pakistan Students Association, so I'm the treasurer for them. What our organization is mainly about is we get students from Pakistan, international students and then domestic students. So every semester we try to have events for them just to make them feel as if they're at home. So we organize different events, and then at the end of the semester, if there are any students graduating, we have graduation farewells as well. This year, for the past 2 years, we haven't been able to do any events or raise any funding because of course, various reasons. One of them being COVID, so we haven't been able to raise any fundings, but we are hoping to do a couple of social events. The first one is going to be a bowling event, just to get to know the new students, and so that they can make some new connections with the current Pakistani students or even anybody else that goes to Iowa State or even the alumni. And then the other event is a social event. We'll be having food, and then some of our students will be coming into that event. And we also have a lot of postdoc and PhD students that have their spouses and kids with them as well. So it's a good environment for them to come in and meet some new people and make friends and new connections. So that's all what our events are for, and that's what we are requesting our funding for.
Okay, and then I will just explain the amendments. So they originally asked for 800, but that was just kind of an overview of what they needed. But one of the main things, the $656 is for catering for international food, and this is considered a new event. So how we fund those is we do current number of members times 2 for each person of the organization and a guest, and then that'll be $8 per plate. So that's why you see we would pay $656, and then we just kept it at 800. So then the rest would be 144. So with that, I move to amend the amend 800 to 656, and then 0 to 144, and yes.
It's been a motion to amend those two amendments, 800 to 656, is that right? 656, and 0 to 144, and it's been seconded. Okay. It's been a motion to move, and it's been seconded. Is there any objection? All right, we'll go into a discussion period for the amendments. Question has been called for and seconded. All right, we'll go ahead and go into a voting period. Unanimous consent has been called for. Any objection to confirming the nominees, or the amendments? We're not doing that quite yet. Unanimously. All right, the amendments have been added. Back on the main bill.
Yeah, so that is just obviously a technicality. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. Any others?
Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? All right, closing comments, Senator Claiborne? No closing comments. We'll go ahead and go into a roll call vote since this is a funding bill. Senator Advait. Adegarla. Ulrich. Yes. Brecht. Yes. Blythe. Yes. Carter. Yes. Claiborne.
Yes.
Crabb. Yes. DeVore. Yes. Filippi. Finaldi. Yes. Gates. Yes. Hayes. Yes. Mahoney. Yes. Rios. Yes. McCready. Yes. Paulson. Yes. Rysvik. Yes. Ruley. Yes. Seth. Yes. Skaggs. Yes. Stout. Yes. Thornton. Yes. Wagmeister. Yes. Weathers. Yes. Yang. Yes. Zuber. Yes. Larson. Yes. All right, of a vote of 28 to 0, the bill passes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 2021-2-021F, funding equestrian club with Western team with Senator Ruley.
Okay, so I'm the treasurer for the Western team. This year, like almost every year, we don't really get any way to prep for what our season is going to look like. And after COVID, it made it a lot harder. Now we're put with another zone, so we're traveling a lot further than what we had expected to this year. So we're going to be going to Springfield, Missouri, and we're just asking for travel funds for that because our team costs are already high enough for our riders, and we want to make sure that we can continue our team. But that's about it.
Great. I'll just give a little bit of background to the committee here. What we are doing here essentially is adding an event in October that we had done a line item transfer for about 2 weeks ago. So we're re-adding that competition back. That's the 2 468 line items and then the registration fees. And then the other 2 max events for 224 miles are for the exchange and distance for their event that moved. So it's just covering the extra bit of mileage. So I'll move the Finance Committee amendment.
It's been a motion to add the Finance Committee amendments. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Is there any objection? Go ahead and go into the discussion period for those amendments. Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Unanimous consent has been called for. Any objection to confirming or to adding those amendments unanimously? Right. Amendment's been added. Back on the main bill once again. Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Any closing comments, Senator Ruley? All right, we'll go ahead and go into a roll call vote once again since it is a finance bill. Senator Advait. Adegarla. Ulrich. Yes. Brecht. Yes. Blythe. Yes. Carter. Yes. Claiborne. Yes. Crabb. Yes. DeVore. Yes. Filippi. Finaldi. Gates. Hayes. Mahoney. Yes. Rios. McCready. Yep. Paulson. Rysvik. Ruley. Yes. Seth. Yes. Skaggs. Stout. Yes. Thornton. Yes. Wagmeister. Yes. Weathers. Yes. Yang. Zuber. Yes. And Larson. Vote of 28 to 0, the bill passes. Moving on to 2021-2-022F, Equestrian Club Western Team Light Item Transfer with Senator Ruley.
Yeah, you don't have to come back up for this one, Carla. You're good. This is just the line item transfer that goes along with it that changes the location of the event that we just funded from Galva to Missouri. So this one's pretty simple.
Is there any discussion on the bill? Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? All right, any closing comments, Senator Rulli? All right, we'll go ahead and go into a voting period. Please vote yes, no, or abstain. Ed Vate. Adagarla. Ulrich. Brecht. Blythe. Carter. Claiborne. Crabb. DeVore. Filippi. Rinaldi. Gates. Hayes. Mahoney. Rios. McCready. Paulson. Rizvik. Rulli. Seth. Skaggs. Stout. Thornton. Wegmeister. Weathers. Yang. Zuber. And Larson. All right, 28-0, the bill passes. Moving on to Internal Matters Special Orders 2021-2-2019 SG, seating at-larges to Student Initiatives Committee with Senator Advait.
Hey, SI committee is having another at-large join, and Meredith unfortunately could not make it tonight. She has to work, but I did hold an interview with her, as I do with every single applicant to the committee, and I do have a statement I'm going to read out from her. The statement is as follows. My name is Meredith Mays, and I'm a junior transfer student pursuing a degree in communications. I'm interested in joining the Student Initiatives Committee because I want to get more involved at Iowa State University. I've always enjoyed organizing and participating in events and want to meet a new community of people who share a passion for community service, social awareness, and change. I met Meredith. I had a pretty good conversation with her. I think she's going to be great on the committee. I encourage you all to vote yes. I yield and call the question. Withdraw.
Speaker Weathers.
Yeah, I just want to ask you like one or two questions since she's not here herself to speak. You said you interviewed her. What were some of her qualifications to be on SI committee? Has she done anything similar in the past or like been involved in anything on campus?
She mentioned a couple high school organizations and having to pick up the slack on projects when other people on her team flaked out, so to speak. So I thought she had a good character, and she seemed pretty enthusiastic about the committee and the work we're doing. She asked questions about our projects and how she could be involved, and I thought that was a good sign as well.
Okay, I won't grill that too hard. Thank you.
Senator Hayes.
Senator Advait, this is the person I was in the office today also met, right?
The first one, yes.
Okay, yes, okay, yeah, she seemed awesome. She was a freshman looking to get involved. I think this is not true. Never mind, I'm thinking about the wrong person. It was true, yeah, never mind.
Any other discussion? Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Closing comments, Senator Advait? No closing comments. We'll go ahead and go into a voting period. Unanimous consent has been called for. Any objection to confirming the nominee for SI committee unanimously? All right. She's been confirmed. Moving on to General Orders 2021-2-023Y, establishing a Student Initiatives Committee budget with Senator Advait.
Why? Hello again. So this is a bill that student initiatives, student government committees can have standing budgets, and these generally exist. So to make the process faster and add more efficiency, public relations has a similar budget. That's where most of the language in this bill is coming off of. That's where this has been modeled on. That's really all this is. There's a couple amendments from finance and rules. So I'm going to move that we adopt the rules amendments first.
There's been a motion to adopt the rules amendments. And it's been seconded. Is there any objection? We'll go into the discussion period for those amendments.
No, I have my placard.
Finance Director Zastro.
Which are the rules amendments and which are the finance amendments?
That is a question for Speaker Weathers.
Yeah, sorry it got a little confusing. I had to transfer the amendments over from your guys' documents. Okay, so going down the document, The removing next and getting rid of committee meeting and replacing it with vote, that's a Rules Committee amendment. The amendment below that, that's Finance. Then as we go further down, the one in pink by Senator Advait is from Rules Committee, I believe. No, sorry. That is from Rules Committee, my apologies, okay. Removing vouchers 4 is from Rules Committee. Is it Finance? Okay, my apologies, I clearly don't know that well either. That one's from Finance, the vouchers 4 is from Finance. Removing the last bylaw, I believe that's a Finance Committee amendment also, right?
The last, yes.
Okay, yeah. And then the final enacted clause is Finance as well.
Right, is it clear to everyone which amendments we're talking about here? Senator Advait.
In case there is any residual questions, I have gone through every single amendment, and in the comments, I've noted down which committee it came from. I yield.
Thank you for doing that. Is there any discussion on those amendments? It's been a call to question and a second. Any objection to voting now on those amendments? Go into a voting period on the amendments. Unanimous consent has been called for. Any objection to adding those amendments unanimously? Right. Add those amendments back on the main bill.
And now I'm going to move the Finance Committee amendments.
Been a motion to move the Finance Committee amendments. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded to add the Finance Committee amendments. Seeing no objections, we'll go into a discussion period. Senator Rulli.
I just want to make sure we don't have a duplicate line here. So would you, can we move just finance minus the bylaw 9.7.8.4.2.1? That was the one I put in finance. It looks like you just moved it down to a different one. So yeah, I'll move to strike that from the amendment.
It's been moved to strike. Which amendment is that again?
That is 9.7.8.4.2.1. That's the one Dawson is highlighting, or Edmund,
perfect.
or whoever.
It has been seconded. Any objection to that? Okay. So it's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to striking that amendment? We'll go into a discussion period on that. Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Unanimous consent has been called for. Any objection to unanimously striking that? All right, it's been struck. Now back on the main amendment now. Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? All right, we're voting on the amendment now. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to adding those amendments unanimously? All right, amendment's been added. Back on the main motion once again.
All right, we had a pretty good discussion in both committees yesterday. I think this bill is in very good shape. We also added in safeguards, and just to go over those, the way the process works is there is a timeline on when the budget has to be proposed. It has to be distinct line items. The committee must have adequate notice of those line items, so the chair can't just come into a meeting and spring a budget on the committee and ask them to vote on it. Once the committee votes to approve it, it then goes to the finance director, who must approve it. Then it goes to the student government advisor, who must also approve it. And then on top of that, the finance director will be conducting, according to the bylaws in here, a semesterly audit of the committee fund, just to look into it and make sure everything's all right. And on top of that, a further amendment made in committee yesterday by Senator Wagmeister was that any expenditures over $1,500 must also go through Finance Committee, just to be extra safe. If you have any questions, please pose them to me. Finance Director Zastro, what's up?
Sorry, this is something that Sophie just said that that made me realize that. So in Finance Committee, one thing that we removed was the word vouchers. I'm guessing the requirement of the approval of the advisor is an artifact from when all student organization purchases were through vouchers, and the signature of the advisor would implicitly be that. That's no longer the case, and now it would be something like a P card transaction or an intramural. Intramurals, well, I guess intramurals still do require a P card, or
I still sign it. I approve both.
okay, but not before the purchase for a P card. So I would recommend removing the word advisor from that. I can't make motions, of course, but I just think it'll get through the advisor eventually, but not necessarily before the purchase, which is, I think, is what's implied, and it's just a procedural thing, I imagine.
Thank you, Director Zastro. I would like to make that amendment then, as reflected on the screen in bylaws 9.7.8.4.5, to end the sentence at Finance Director.
There's been a motion to end the 9.7.8.4.5 at Finance Director and seconded. Any objection? We'll go into a discussion period on the amendment. Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now on the amendment? Unanimous consent has been called for. Any objection to adding the amendment unanimously? Great, the amendment's been added. Back on the main motion once again.
All right, that's all for me. I yield.
Any more discussion on the bill? Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Go into closing comments. No closing comments. We'll go into a roll call vote. Once again, yes, no, or abstain. Advait. Atagarla. Ulrich. Brecht. Blythe. Carter. Claiborne. Crab. DeVore. Filippi. Finaldi. Gates. Hayes. Mahoney. Rios. McCready. Paulson. Risvik. Ruley. Seth. Skaggs. Stout. Thornton. Wegmeister. Weathers. Yang. Zuber. Larson. Of a vote of 27 to 0 to 1, the bill passes. Moving on to 2021, we're going on to new business now, 2021-2-025F, funding cycling club with Senator Claiborne.
So all this is that cycling club is going to have a competition in Iowa City, and obviously we pay half. So it's like, as it says in the bill, there's only 3 members going. So, yeah.
Speaker Weathers.
Sorry, Senator Claiborne. Is it your intention to have, as Senator Advait highlighted, $130 be in that enacted clause?
No, it'd be 103.
Yes or no for new business here?
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of intent for Senator Claiborne? We'll go on to 2021-2-026F, Dance Marathon Line Item Transfer Part 2 with Senator Ruley.
Yeah, we're seeing a part 2 because Dance Marathon got the quote for the Hanson Ag Center, Hanson Ag building. So we're moving more, they're requesting to move more funds from their small spring and fall recruitment to fund the building. They're also moving the line item from the conference registration that they didn't, that was held online this year into another meeting, recruiting meeting to be held this fall.
Any questions of intent for Senator Ruley? Seeing none, we'll move on to 2021-2-027Y, adjusting Senate and Cabinet member responsibilities with Senator Hayes.
Yeah, so this is just changing some of the stuff that we talked about last week in terms of the student government operations to include or to make the requirement for senators and cabinet members to not just be outreach events, but just activity credits in general, which might include volunteering for things that aren't necessarily designed to be just for outreach. That's it.
Any questions of intent for Senator Hayes? Seeing none, we'll move on to announcements. Senator Advait.
All right. Welcome to your weekly lectures announcement. Coming up on the 7th of October, 2021 at 6 p.m. in the sunroom of the Memorial Union. Which side are you on? The question every police officer must answer by Dr. Cedric Alexander. On the 7th of October at 7:30 p.m. in room 3512 of the Memorial Union, Virality, Vitality, and Vulnerability, Christianity and Culture as Ecosystems of Meaning by Dr. Justin Bailey. On the 12th of October at 7 p.m. in the Great Hall of the Memorial Union, Energy Democracy, Driving Clean Energy Through Local Action by John Carson. On the 14th of October at 7 p.m. in the sunroom of the Memorial Union, Good Bad People, a photoethnography of methamphetamine use in rural Alabama by Heath Copes. Lastly, I'd like to thank President Campbell for bringing up a very pertinent point. For all the engineers listening in at home, we at Engineering Student Council have regular meetings with the engineering dean. In fact, I have one just tomorrow. So if you have any concerns, any things you want brought up to the dean, do please let me know after the meeting. Thank you. I yield.
All right, any other announcements from senators? We'll move on to Finance Director Zastro.
Again, please be our clerk, please. Also, if you're a member of a sports club that is part of a sports club council, especially if you are an officer, please talk to me after the meeting, but also if you're a member. Thank you.
Senator Rizvik.
Hey all, so I'm just going to send out a Google form if you're interested in doing Green Dot bystander training. Just fill it out, sign up if you're interested in that. I yield.
President Campbell.
To bring to everyone's attention something fun that's going on campus right now is the College Tour. Is a TV series. It's come to campus, and the idea behind it, the director of The Amazing Race is the one that came up with the idea that to expand and make it more accessible to tour colleges across the United States and reduce costs of exploring options for students. They are doing a show where they showcase different campuses. So it's here at Iowa State. Filming is going on all week. They have all colleges covered. They're doing a segment on innovation. And if you see people with boom mics and such on campus, that's what they're doing. So follow along. I think it's going to be released in early March.
I'll have a quick announcement. Julia and I have the goal of meeting with each senator before the end of the fall semester. So I'll be sending out a doodle poll by the end of this week. So be looking for that in your inbox by Friday. And we'll try to find a time. We'd love to meet with everybody. And I know it's busy for most people. So we'll try to have lots of accommodating times and the rest of the semester to complete that goal. So could you turn your placard this way so I can see? Okay. Perfect, thanks. Senator Carter, still learning names.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick announcement. This weekend, the Climate Change Action Theater is continuing their productions. They'll be doing productions this weekend at the Ames Farmers Market Saturday morning, and I encourage you all to attend. I myself will be reading some poetry there, so if you want to hear some poetry about dead animals on farms, you can certainly come and listen to me read. But they'll also be putting on some theater productions as well.
All right, Vice Speaker Crabb.
All right, I've sent out an email to all of the committee chairs and all the branch leaders. Just make sure to send your agendas and minutes out. And then also, don't forget to do your office hours and write them down. And also, meet with your mentees. Can my mentees find me after the meeting? Thank you.
Okay, congratulations everybody on the short meeting. Not a lot was accomplished. A lot was accomplished, sorry. I shouldn't say that. Quite a bit was accomplished. What I meant to say was that it wasn't thoroughly exciting. There wasn't a contentious debate, and I know that can end up being boring. But I think that's also good. It's good to take a break from all of that. If you are looking for a contentious debate, write the bills yourself. You can bring a contentious bill. If you think it's really a positive change for students on campus, if you think it's a positive change for Iowa State, write the bill, bring it before Senate, ask anyone for help. They'd be more than willing to help you. I guess the only thing I really wanted to hit on was the same thing that I said under my important things section in the legislative packet. Make sure you're keeping track of your requirements, attending office hours like Vice Speaker Crabb said, but also meeting with your constituency councils. You are all required to regularly update your constituency councils on things that are going on in Senate, and also take feedback from them and bring it to Senate to make sure that you're representing the people who elected you or who are purported to represent the people who elected you. And then, but that's not the final thing you have to do. Those are just what's required of you. There's so much more you can do in Senate beyond the internal rules requirements. So let anyone know if you need any help with anything. We're more than willing. Go Cyclones, move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Seeing no objection, the meeting is adjourned.